Welcome back, Weebs and Gamers. This is AG here, back with another deck profile. Today I'm going to be doing it on my Haruhi deck. I've already done one on my waifu deck, my Nagato deck, but I haven't done one on my Haruhi deck. And I figure with the new ban list that came out, where surprisingly, I never thought this would happen. Haruhi is allowed to play one copy of the World with Faded Colors event, aka Emo Swing, which is what everyone calls it. Um, yeah, that's pretty cool. I never thought I'd be able to play that card again. And so yeah, I just wanted to do a little deck profile on it and talk about it. And yeah, get to it here. So first we have 4 copies of this Nagato Riki. So this card is also in my Nagato deck, obviously. The foils are in my Nagato deck, and I have regulars for this one, but whatever, it's fine. So yeah, this card is actually like crazy. This is like one of the best Rickies ever made. So it's just pay 1 clock, 1 search for level 1 or lower, and then on attack you can give someone 1k. So really good, especially since you do play kind of like an outdated clean cut. Being able to give that card extra 1k is very, very helpful. And just super good card overall, basically. Next, we play 4 copies of the Haruhi Brainstorm. So I used to only play 3 copies, but I decided to up it to 4 because it's actually like the main target for the event. Because the level 2 event allows you to summon specifically a Brigade Chief card, which are only Haruhi cards from your waiting room. So I figured I kind of wanted to up this to 4 if I'm going to play the event now again. So, and of course, it's just Salvage Brainstorm, so, you know, super good card. Can't really complain with that. And it gives 500 to middle permanently, which is pretty nice. Next, we have 3 copies of this Nagato. So this Nagato is also in my Nagato deck. She just gets 2k on your opponent's turn and has Hand Encore, so she's 35 to like Defender. Overall, not really super good card nowadays, I guess, but you need a little bit more blue to help color fix for blue in this deck, so that's why this is in here. And it's just a good opening turn play, I guess. Next we have 4 copies of the this is the clean cut Haruhi. So normally nowadays, if you're just a vanilla clean cut, they actually bumped the power up to 2500. But unfortunately, since she's a really old card, she's not part of that, so she's 2k. So she is slightly underpowered, but again, you have the Riki to buff it by 1k, and also if you can swing with her in middle with the Brainstorm, she also gets extra 500. So there are ways to make up for it, but it just does kind of suck that since it's an old card, it's slightly underpowered. But it is. And finally, we have 3 copies of this Mikuru card. So this is a time machine, quote unquote. That's what people call this effect, which is when you reverse someone, you can go to memory and then come back next turn. And she also just has come and play Mill 2 for free. You don't do anything, just Mill 2. But that's actually kind of nice because now you have standby in Haruhi. So being able to just mill for free and get a bunch of stuff in your waiting room quickly to standby out is very helpful. And yeah, you can just dodge and keep advantage for you. So yeah, pretty good card, and a green card, which again kind of helps color fix for green. Next we have 4 copies of the Haruhi SP. So this is also a quote-unquote time machine. This is a normal Haruhi. This is the amazing light novel art where she has the ponytail. It's like, so good. And yeah, so again, if you reverse someone, she can just go to memory and then come back next turn. So yeah, very good card. And I have 4 of the SPs, so I figure I might as well play them, right? Next we have 4 of this Nagato. So she is also played in my Nagato deck, but in this deck, she's also pretty good because you do play standby. So if you ever want to, you can like standby her into your back row, and then she's like an on-field 3K counter essentially. You have to discard one, but yeah, so pretty cool effect. And she's also just like a 1/0 6K attacker as well. Now the level 1 lineup is triple color. It's red, blue, and green. But again, with standby, usually you can just like standby out. Hopefully, the game plan usually is to standby out the green back row, so you don't need green, and then hopefully you just have red and blue, and you can just play both the attackers are red and blue. So that's usually the way you want it to go. But sometimes, obviously sometimes it might kind of be a little screwy. Next, we have 2 of this promo. So this is a pretty nice promo. It's just a level 1 bomb, and it also has the really cool, unique effect where if she's on field and you refresh your deck, you can just put her into your stock for free, which is kind of nice. And again, it also weirdly kind of works with standby pretty well because, like, say you trigger standby like right before you refresh, you can potentially just like summon this out for free, and then when you refresh, just put her to stock if you want. So kind of a cool effect, and then just a level 1 bomb, which is nice. And then this is the green back row card I was talking about. So this Mikuru. So this Mikuru is global 500 and 1 level to all SOS characters, which is pretty crazy. Because essentially you can summon this at level 0 potentially if you stand by this like turn 1, and if you have like say this set up, like if you have one of these and one of these, now your level 0 is a 4K level 1 at level 0, which basically prevents it from being bombed, which is really cool. So it's just like a neat interaction you can do. And also actually has like a secondary effect, which is it's an anti-brainstorm effect, because a lot of there's like I think there's one in each color in the original Haruhi set that has like an anti-brainstorm effect. And this one is if your opponent brainstorms and successfully hits a climax, you can discard a card and minus 2K something on their stage. So you could like potentially just kill the brainstorm, you could kill something else, or you can just minus 2K something, whatever. It does come up sometimes, but it's mainly just there for the global 5 and the level boost, because it allows you to dodge bombs and like other things. So pretty cool. Moving on to level 2. So we have 2 copies of this. This is also a promo, and it's just 2K to level 3s in front. And then also has come and play Ditch 1, Salvage 1. So very nice card. It kind of sucks because you can't use that effect if you stand by it, but good card if you happen to play it from your hand and you want to hand fix or whatever. We have 1 copy of this Mikuru card. She's just a anti-early play clock bomb, which is nice, and also just has twin drive, which is nice as well. So overall, can't complain about this card. Pretty decent. And we have the 1 copy of the event. So this is the previously banned event. Now it is back at 1, which is pretty cool. So this card is so you have to sacrifice a level 1 or higher character on your stage, so send it to waiting room. And then you get to choose a brigade chief specifically, so only like the few Haruhi cards, level 0, and summon it back to your stage, and then salvage 2 characters. So basically is pretty much just a straight up +1, let you just salvage 2 characters, because even though you have to sack one, you get to summon something back in its place. So yeah, pretty cool card. I wouldn't be surprised actually if they just bump this up to even more copies. Like, I really don't see this needing to be at 1. Even if I could play more, I'd probably only play like 2. So like, yeah, like being at 1 is kind of like random, I feel. I wouldn't be surprised if they put it to more, which would be pretty cool. I'd greatly welcome that. Moving on to level 3, so we have 4 copies of the Trouble Girl. Level 3. These ones are actually the TD ones. I really like the TD ones because the picture is like substantially zoomed out more compared to the booster one, which is basically just like her head. It's like really zoomed in. So this one is way more zoomed out, and you can see some of the background. There's like a pizza and like a book and stuff in the background, which is actually kind of funny because she's book trait. So, but like on the zoomed in one, you don't even know there's a book in the picture, pretty much. So you're like, why is she book trait? But then on the zoomed out one, you can clearly see she's like holding a book. So yeah, it's pretty cool detail. But yeah, this is like one of the old school like quote unquote broken finishers that people always talk about because it was originally a common, which is really crazy, and it was in the TD. And it's just on attack if you have the gate and play burn 1 and come and play heal. So very basic but very effective card essentially, and goes with gate. So overall, like that's like one of the best like finishers they've ever or not sorry the one of the best finishers that they printed a long time ago essentially. Next we have 2 of this Mikuru early play. So she's just an early play heal. And then she also has, I think it's like both you and your opponent can't play backups to her attack. Or actually, no, I think it's just you. Now that I remember, yeah. It's just your opponent, I mean. Cannot play backups to her attacks, which is pretty cool. She's kind of there for more heals and whatever. Next we have 2 copies of this Cat Mikuru. So this card is actually also extremely important. It's another card that I thought like was always in contention for being banned or restricted, because it does kind of do the same thing as the event that they banned in Haruhi, the blue event, which kills a climax your opponent has. So this card is essentially, when it comes into play, you just pay 1, and your opponent cannot play a climax next turn, which is pretty crazy. If you time that well, you might just be able to like easily live till next turn and then like kill them. And she also has -1 soul to opponent's front row as well, to make slightly less damage. Usually -1 soul is kind of bad, but it is there. It is technically less damage, so like, you know, you might be able to survive like one less damage and live basically. But yeah, so it's pretty cool effect. I don't think any other set in all of WEISS has this effect, which is really cool. And same with this card actually. This Nagato. I don't think any other card in WEISS does what this card does. And it's a very effective card, which is when it comes into play, you banish your opponent's entire field or stage, and then you put everything back onto the stage in wherever you want. So if you want to move their back rows to the front row to kill them, you can. If you want to, if they have any lingering effects, like -2 soul effects over turn or whatever, it just wipes those, gets rid of those. And she also has a secondary effect where if you reverse someone, you can pay 1 and heal 1. So also goes in conjunction with that effect, because you can move their back rows to front, which are usually weak, and just run them over. So yeah, very cool effect. Wish they made this in other sets in more modern WEISS, but I think it's a little too powerful, so they kind of have to keep it to the older sets. And then we have the 8 climaxes, which is the 4 gate and the 4 standby, the new standby. Really cool that this deck got standby from the Sneaker Bunko set. And yeah, it also has pretty cool art because it's like light novel art. Move these over a bit more. There we go. And this is the stick your tongue out, eye poke face card, which is always funny. But yeah, overall, I think the deck is pretty cool. Obviously, still pretty underpowered for today's standards, but yeah, it has some cool, nifty tricks, especially the level 3s are pretty unique, and now it has the event back, which is pretty cool too. So, hope you guys like that. Remember to like, comment, subscribe. This is EIJI, and signing out.